Hi, and welcome to the Industrial Insider. I'm Jonathan Gornstein, your industrial real estate specialist from Leonard Commercial. On today's podcast, I have Frank Roma, a well-known architect and a principal at Ware Malcomb. Frank has worked on projects including industrial, warehousing, distribution, manufacturing, office, automotive, and retail facilities. In addition to architecture, Frank does planning, interior design, civil engineering, branding, and building measurement services to his private and public sector clients. Welcome to the pod, Mr. Frank. How are you managing in this heat? Are you melting, or are you tanning?
Yeah,
or what are you doing?
This weather's crazy. It's crazy, this weather. I used to live in Texas for years, and this is one of the reasons why I left there, and I couldn't stand the heat.
You just walk outside and you just get a breath of sweat right down the body.
I used to have to go to work with two shirts, one to go to work, and then when I had to go to a meeting, I had to bring another shirt because I had an older car, and it wouldn't cool down once you're above 100. It's just the air conditioner's not working.
Anyways, let's jump into it. There's a lot to talk about from the architectural side, especially from being on the industrial side. What is your general view of building designs on the industrial side with regards to real estate?
Obviously everybody knows the industrial right now is really a hot market. Everybody, if they weren't doing industrial, they're trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of new clients this past year and a half that were either retail based and are now, converting their sites to industrial.
Right.
A lot of the things with industrial and warehouse phasing is you gotta get it right. It's a simple rectangle, these buildings, but in the end of the day, they have to be able to be leased to tenants. So you need proper truck courts, bay depths in the building, clear heights, how to subdivide it, always looking for, I work a lot with the brokerage community, and it's always about the long-term goals of these properties and how to subdivide them and how to, maximize the tenants inside the spaces. So.
Okay, so I guess over the last decade, you've seen a big evolution of what tenants or owners really demand from the design. Can you speak about what really has changed over the last decade? Like what were your conversations 10 years ago, and what are they now? I'm sure they're a lot more sophisticated, even though it's just more of a box, as you said.
Yeah, what's happening now is really they're blending. They're putting, a lot of these buildings, they have more office than they've ever had. They're putting, I would say, different type of employees coming into these buildings. So, there's a lot more amenities to attract these type of employees that are coming in the building. So you don't just have the warehouse staff anymore. You have, the engineers, the marketing team. They're in these buildings, and the buildings have to evolve. So, some of the things that these buildings have are, outdoor patios. They have gyms. They have patio decks on the second floors. So they have amenities that you would see in, more corporate office downtown. Now you see them in buildings, just to attract that kind of talent. So that's very popular. In terms of the building specs themselves, we've been seeing, obviously higher clear heights have been popular. The trend used to be, 28-foot clear, then it went to 32. Now it's 36. Right now, anything over 200, 300,000 square feet, we're doing 40-foot clear. And it's not necessarily for putting an extra rack on the racking. It's really, new buildings are doing mezzanines inside. So 3-4 floors of mezzanines in these buildings. It's just something that's happening in the market. Also, parking is a huge requirement. So a lot of sites where in the past, you'd park an industrial building, one per 1,000. you have a couple stalls, and now you have, some sites we have 600 to 800 stalls on a site that are tenant requirements. So there are a lot more people, a lot more employees, a lot more cars on these sites.
So I guess a lot of your clients are spending more time on office flow. How do you attract different talent? How do you keep them within the building, like in terms of gyms, patios, maybe food services, that type of stuff in these buildings? So I guess that has really changed over the last, let's say, 10 years.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's go to I guess, the physical structure. What are the main features that you've seen or that the current market is using for building an actual building?
Well, in Ontario, really, it's still a steel frame building with, and usually, typically in our market in Ontario, there's really one cladding system. It is flex wall, which is an insulated precast on the exterior walls. Over the last couple of years, because of the high demand of industrial, that one supplier is getting bombarded with so many orders. So there is delays in getting precast.
Yeah.
Some of the top, GCs and developers are, they're trying to secure, when they're doing big parks, trying to secure that product. We've seen a little bit of a shift. Some people are a little bit more open to using IMP panels, which is an insulated metal panel. But
so that's essentially the metal on the outside insulation.
The main skin of the building. So typically the dock area, you still want precast, and really the common idea from a lot of developers is that a precast building is much more durable and stronger, even though when you rack these buildings, the perimeter are always with racking, so you never really touch the outside. But it's just a perception in the marketplace that concrete is a better building. So a lot of these buildings, I know a handful of developers that wouldn't even touch IMP panels. It's precast or nothing. So in terms of the office fronts, the corners, the center, we've seen a lot more glass to accommodate, obviously, the office that's there.
Right.
The clear heights. Inside the buildings, we've gone with, 10 years ago, they were doing 40 by 40 bays. We've gone up to, now we're trending 50, 56, 52, 56 bays, which is big. And also the staging area along the loading dock area, that's increased to 70 feet. People are doing a lot more in those areas. They're, traditionally that area was always for basically unloading a whole truck and then loading skids to fit in a 54-foot truck. What's happening now is they're doing a lot of repackaging. They're doing a lot of different activities in that staging area than the conventional ship and store.
Let's go back to the bay sizes. You said that the bay sizes have really increased over the years. I think you said somewhere in the 40s and 50s, and you're close to the high 60s or high 50s right now. What's really driving that? Like, why are clients asking for bigger bay sizes than they previous were or in the past?
Yeah, if I had a marker, I could draw what's happening. But in terms of the bay sizing, the reason they're getting bigger is just to put more racking. Yeah. So it always worked with 40 by 40. We're trending now, different type of product with multi-story, and we're going back to the 40 by 40 grid for other reasons.
Right.
But increase in bay sizing just allows for variety of racking and to store higher and taller. So when you have a bigger bay, you could put more conventional racking, and you could have the distance between to get the forklifts. So when you go tighter, then you got introduction of different type of forklifts to get to those heights.
Right. It was actually funny that you should mention that. I was in a warehouse probably about 2 weeks ago, and the aisles were actually very narrow with the racking system, where the forklifts actually turned or the actual fork of the forklift turned completely with a 90-degree angle to pick up the skid. and to bring it out and then to drop it back down, which is, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's crazy the type of systems that they have in these buildings now.
Yeah.
Robotic, there's all sorts of stuff.
So obviously with the demand for industrial product, what do you think will help speed up the process to bring supply on the market? I guess this is a very general question, but what's your take on it?
Well, in Ontario, the struggles that anybody has, any developer has to bring a product online is really going through the SBA process, and that's really the biggest hurdle in any development, right? You got to foresee what's going to happen a year from now and make sure you have the product ready to go, because a lot of times I know a lot of users right now, product that's ready to move in is the stuff that's hot, and
Yeah.
on the market changes. Who would have known 2 years ago that ready industrial would have been on fire as it is now? So what I always tell people is you got to get in early with the SBA, even if the SBA process is the building. Obviously you need to, there's money involved to prepare that package, but the earlier you get into the city and get through, the better position you'll be. Even if it's in 1 or 2 rounds of comments, at least you're in a better position when you have to deliver a site. You can anticipate when you can put a shovel in the ground. If you don't even start SBA, you're at least 8 to a year to a year out from even starting that development. So
Okay, so why don't we dive into that in terms of timelines, so everyone understands when they're getting into this type of project, how long it actually takes. So let's say from my point of view, I'll sell a client a piece of land. It's the services are at the lot line. That process could take anywhere from let's say 2 to 5 months to get the deal done. And then at that point, they'll deliver the site to you, and you'll start to work on the design. How long would that take?
So, typically clients will come to me, they bought, I get in a lot with the brokerage community even before they purchase it. So I've already done a site plan, I've already done some building concepts. So with a site plan and some building elevations, we can start an SBA basically package. That's usually you need architectural, you need full civil drawings, landscape, photometrics on the site to prepare that package.
Yeah.
So our office is turning that stuff around between 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And you have to make that submission, and depending what part of Ontario you're in, Vaughan has certain timelines down to, in the Toronto area that has certain timelines. But in general, I would say average, it takes at least 8 months, 8 to a year, in order to get a fully executed SBA. It could even take longer. I've had projects that have taken 2 years.
Right.
It all depends where it is.
Okay.
And there's little techniques, during the SBA process that you can get a foundation permit, or you can kickstart the construction drawings during that process. So it's not like you're just sitting there waiting for SBA to kick in. There is some, risks by doing that, by advancing construction drawings during that process, because the city hasn't really reviewed the architecture, or, a lot of the details haven't been worked out, and you're already deep into construction drawings and there's changes and stuff like that. It gets exciting.
Okay, so for rough argument, you're anywhere from 8 to 12 months once you acquire the land.
Yep.
And after that process, how long would you say that it takes to construct and deliver a building to move in ready once you get that approval?
So once you get that approval, to do, depending how detailed, if it's a shell industrial building, construction drawings, that could be done, probably within 2 months. And then it's, depending on what type of building it is, usually there's an, I would say 8-month construction period. So in all, it's probably like a 2-year process, if you think about it.
Start to finish.
From the date you have it to start to finish, right?
Right. Let me ask you a little bit about yourself in terms of your style. What is your signature design for an industrial building or typical projects that you work on?
Well, I don't really try to I try not to stick to one style. I look to our clients and what kind of, what kind of vibe or what kind of look they want to acquire on their properties. A lot of people have told me they when they drive around, they kind of get a sense that those are our buildings.
Yeah.
It's very, a lot of our designs are really modern. They're clean, a lot of glass, metal. We try to bring, a little bit of character to the buildings as much as we can, with, always cost in mind and being practical. So we put glass where glass is needed. We do detailing where we think there's going to be merit for it. We don't just start, finishing the building with details that really are not necessary. So I think a lot of our clients are really happy with the product that's there. We're really cautious on exposing, mechanical units on the roofs and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we kind of do really nice design.
And then I don't know if you can talk about, are there any active projects that you're currently working on that you want to discuss? I know there's a lot of confidential information and you're on NDAs and whatnot.
Yeah, we have, we've done I would say in the last 2 years, probably just probably a little bit over 10 million feet in the GTA. So we have projects everywhere.
Yeah.
We have a lot of development right now north of the city in Caledon. That's really a hot market out there.
Yeah.
We've just been awarded, I think, 1.5 million square feet of industrial up there. We're finishing off an extension. We started with 200,000 square foot building. We went to 400, and now we're at 1 million for one building. That's just finishing up in Caledon, just off of 50.
Yeah.
We have huge development up there with another developer, probably I think it's 4.5 million feet of product. There's a variety of buildings out there. It's just insane how much is going on in Caledon in the last 2 years. Again, Vaughan, we're working in Vaughan. We have a lot of development down on Gibraltar. We have 3 or 4 buildings going on there.
Yeah.
A new development in Brampton, on the corner of Highway 7 and 50. That's going to be 2 400,000 square foot buildings going on there. So we're really active, and we're doing work right now in Ottawa. We have 100 acres in Ottawa, it's 100 acres in Ottawa, 6 buildings going on, and one just started construction right now.
How about any major projects that you see coming down the pipe or conversations that you had with clients on the east end of Toronto?
Well, the East End hasn't really been popular just because of, originally everybody wanted to be around the airport.
Yeah.
So the East End was always not a place for, building industrial because it was far out. It was more, I would say it would be more manufacturing or a facility that wanted to be out there. But, lately we're building, like currently right now, we have two spec buildings going in Scarborough right now that are I think 300 and another one 400,000. So it is something that's trending. Lands where people could get land, they're putting buildings. So definitely the East End has got a lot more traction. We have a lot more. I just got awarded a project the other day and off of somewhere in Scarborough. So it is definitely getting a lot more traction than typical.
Let me ask you a personal question. How's your golf game?
Actually, not that good. With COVID, I just didn't go out, but definitely got to get back in it. I'm actually going on a partners retreat soon, so I gotta up my game because those guys are very competitive out there in California.
Yeah, you gotta sharpen your skills a little bit. All right. Well, I want to say, Frank, thank you for taking the time to join me on the Industrial Insider. I think we've all learned a lot, from design to timelines to everything. I guess stage one from when you acquire a piece of land and what to do with it. So I thank you for that. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is jonathan@leonard.com, or give me a call at 416-471-0904. And again, Frank, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jonathan. Real pleasure. And, let your audience know that they can always, give me a call and I can help them with the development. We do a lot of site planning for a lot of colleagues. So always happy to help.
We'll make sure that we tag you in this post and your contact information. So if you want to reach out to Frank directly, by all means.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great day.